They thought it was just another house, just another fixer-upper with a few creaky floorboards and drafty hallways. The kind of place you could settle into with a little paint, a few repairs, and a fresh start. But the Perron family was dead wrong, because what they bought wasn't just a house. It was a cage built to contain something ancient, something malevolent, something alive within the walls. And as you listen to what unfolded there, I want you to remember one thing. Every single detail I'm about to share with you came from actual case files, eyewitness accounts, and the personal journals of Ed and Lorraine Warren. World's most famous paranormal investigators show themselves admitted this was one of the darkest, most dangerous hauntings they ever encountered. The year was 1971 when Caroline and Roger Perron, along with their 5 daughters, moved into the secluded farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, a 14-room structure on a piece of land soaked in centuries of blood, tragedy, and untold secrets. But from the very first night, something felt wrong. Clocks stopped at precisely 3:07 a.m. A putrid smell of decaying flesh lingered in certain rooms, and a heavy, watchful presence seemed to hover near the staircase. Their dog refused to enter the home, and was found dead the next morning, with no wounds, just lifeless and cold near the barn, as if it had seen something it couldn't comprehend. And that was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, the pet experienced things that defied logic. Disembodied voices, whispering in the dark, phantom hands pulling at their sheets, and shadows crawling along the ceilings. Caroline, the mother, began waking up with strange bruises on her body, finger-shaped marks that grew more aggressive each day, while her daughters saw a woman with hollow eyes standing in the corner of their room, mouthing words they couldn't understand. Now, here's the part you can't miss. When they investigated the house's history, what they uncovered was chilling. 8 generations of families had lived and died there, many under mysterious circumstances, including suicides, drownings, and one mother who murdered her child in the name of Satan before hanging herself from the tree behind the house at exactly 3:07 a.m. Her name was Bathsheba Sherman, a woman believed to have been a witch, accused of sacrificing her baby to the devil in the mid-1800s. And it was her spirit that now clung to the land like rot, refusing to let go. The activity grew, worse. Caroline became isolated, gaunt, almost possessed, obsessively researching witchcraft, speaking in broken Latin, and sometimes falling into trance-like states for hours, only to awaken in the basement with no memory of how she got there. And if you think this sounds like movie fiction, listen closely. Because, in a few minutes, I'll tell you about the seance conducted by the Warrens that went so wrong. It scarred everyone in the room, physically and emotionally, for life. The Warrens were contacted out of desperation, and when they arrived, Lorraine immediately felt the house's energy. She claimed she saw Bathsheba standing behind Caroline, her eyes black as coal, whispering threats into her ear, urging her to kill her children. And during their investigation, the Warrens discovered hidden passageways in the walls, animal bones beneath the floorboards, and a crawl space in the basement that reeked of sulfur and decay. Inside was an altar, stained with something far too dark to be rust. Now, here's where things escalate. During the seance, Caroline became possessed. Her body convulsed, she levitated off the ground, and let out a scream so inhuman it shattered glass in the room. And, according to Lorraine, what spoke through Caroline was not Bathsheba, but something far older, something that had used Bathsheba as a vessel. Roger Perron, terrified for his wife, punched Ed Warren and forced the couple to leave. But the damage had already been done. The veil between the living and the dead had been torn wide open. Over the following weeks, the Perron family endured relentless torment, doors slamming, furniture flying, and one night, their youngest daughter was dragged from her bed and nearly pulled through the closet wall, which had opened to reveal a hidden chamber filled with antique dolls, bones, and a mirror covered in black cloth. And just when they thought it couldn't get worse, Caroline attempted to stab one of her daughters with a pair of scissors in the middle of the night, only to collapse, sobbing, with no memory of the act. They fled the house temporarily, but were forced to return due to financial hardship, and what they came back to was even darker, as if the entity had grown stronger in their absence. Now bold enough to appear fully formed, a tall woman with sunken eyes, wearing a noose around her neck, who would walk the halls, whispering, "Minute there, all mine." In the final year of their stay, the family stopped inviting guests, stopped going to church, and lived in total fear. Slept with a shotgun, and the children were told never to go near the cellar. And just when they thought they'd found a priest willing to help, he entered the house, stood in the doorway, and left without saying a word, later admitting he felt something looking through him from the inside. Finally, after nearly a decade, the Perrons moved out, but here's the part most people don't know. The house still stands, and new owners moved in years later, claiming to have heard the same voices, seen the same figures, and even experienced their own possessions, but they refused to allow anyone to perform an exorcism, believing it would only provoke whatever still lingers. And as for the Warrens, they kept the case file locked for years. I'd once told a close friend that how something in there tried to follow us home, and to this day, Loren's notes remain partially redacted. The audio tapes sealed away in the Warren Occult Museum, so if you're still listening, take this as a warning, not just about Bathsheba, or the Perrons, or that cursed land in Rhode Island, but about the very real forces that lurk just beyond the veil, watching, waiting, choosing who to haunt next. And if you ever feel a sudden chill in a room that should be warm, or hear a voice whisper your name in the dark when you're alone, don't ignore it, because evil doesn't just disappear, it moves, and you never know when it's your turn. Thank you for listening to Whispenox. Whisper Seeth, you dare return for more true horror. Subscribe, and hit that bell, because next time, we'll explore the most haunted object the Warrens ever contained, and unlike the Perrons' house, this one has escaped.